Welcome, everyone. Today we're taking a break from politics and policy to explore another side of success, one that blends high performance with high style. Rachel Maddow's luxury lifestyle, where precision meets prestige, and the journey is just as remarkable as the destination. From an impressive collection of luxury vehicles like the Porsche Panamera and Lexus favorites that redefines personal freedom, this is a story about ambition, achievement, and living life on your own terms. So buckle up. Let's get started. Rachel Ann Maddow was born on April 1, 1973, in Castro Valley, California. She grew up in a middle-class household where money was stable but never excessive. Her father, Robert Maddow, was a former U.S. Air Force captain who later worked as a lawyer. Her mother, Elaine, was a school program administrator. From childhood, Rachel lived in a home where service, discipline, and education mattered more than status symbols. She was an athletic child, openly competitive, deeply curious, and already comfortable challenging authority. That personality trait would later define her public image. She attended Castro Valley High School, where she balanced academics with sports and developed the sharp debating instincts that became her signature on television. After high school, she went to Stanford University and earned a degree in public policy. It was during those years that she publicly came out as gay. Not as a publicity moment, but as a simple fact of life. That honesty would later make her one of the most visible openly lesbian figures in American broadcast journalism. After Stanford, she won a Rhodes Scholarship, an achievement that quietly signaled the intellectual weight she carried long before fame. She completed her doctorate at Oxford University, becoming the first openly gay Rhodes Scholar. Her academic work focused on public health and HIV/AIDS, showing early on that her interests were grounded in real-world consequences rather than abstract theory. When Rachel returned to the United States, she didn't step immediately into wealth or fame. Instead, she worked in radio, often for modest pay, hosting shows on small stations. There, she learned how to speak to people in a way that felt direct, conversational, and unscripted. Her big break came when she joined Air America, a progressive radio network. Her analytical style, calm delivery, and ability to unpack complex political issues without shouting began to attract national attention. From radio, she moved into television, first as a panelist and guest analyst on MSNBC, and eventually as the host of The Rachel Maddow Show, which premiered in 2008. From that moment, her professional life changed permanently. By 2026, Rachel Maddow's estimated net worth is widely reported to be $60 million. It was built primarily through her MSNBC contracts, book sales, production deals, and speaking engagements, not through endorsements or commercial advertising. She has consistently avoided product promotion and celebrity branding. Her most significant financial milestone came with her long-term contract with MSNBC, which at its peak was reported to pay approximately $30 million per year, making her one of the highest-paid television hosts in the world. But even with that level of income, her personal lifestyle remains notably restrained. When it comes to real estate, she owns property but doesn't maintain a sprawling portfolio. Her primary residence for many years has been a historic pre-war apartment in Manhattan's West Village, purchased for an estimated $1.25 million at the time, a modest figure by New York standards. The apartment has appreciated significantly due to location, not extravagance. It reflects her personality, quiet, functional, book-filled, and private. She also owns a Cummington, Massachusetts, historic farmhouse retreat. Rachel Maddow purchased this farmhouse purchase for $605,000 in 2013 with partner Susan McCullough. Style and age, two-story pre-Civil War farmhouse from the 1800s. Size, around 4,000 square feet total. Features multiple cozy fireplaces throughout. Wood-paneled walls and wood flooring give a rustic, historic aesthetic. Large plot of land with lush greenery and landscape. There's a guest house on the property matching the wood panel design. They also added a separate bathhouse structure with a hot tub dug into the ground. Cedar wood walls, fireplace, seating nook, and an entertainment TV. Notable because they do not keep a TV inside the main house. Rachel Maddow to own exotic vehicles or luxury supercars. Let's inside Rachel Maddow's car collection. Rachel Maddow has built a collection of cars that feels like a window into her personality. She isn't the type to chase flashy supercars just to show off, but she clearly enjoys vehicles that are well-made, comfortable, and a bit unexpected. For someone whose daily life is usually behind a desk and a microphone, she owns a Lexus RC 350, which is a sporty yet refined coupe that blends comfort with enough power to make driving feel like something you look forward to rather than just endure. In the United States, a Lexus RC 350 typically costs somewhere around the high $50,000 range when new, depending on options and trim. Many people who choose this car talk about how it feels confident on the road without being aggressive. Drivers appreciate the smooth ride and thoughtful interior. Another standout in her garage is a Porsche Panamera. A few steps above her Lexus in terms of price and brand cachet, Panameras usually sell for well over $90,000 new, and high-end trims can climb past six figures. It's a car that surprises people because it's a four-door yet still feels like a proper Porsche on the twisty parts of the road. For someone who spends long hours working, it's easy to imagine her enjoying the Panamera's mix of performance and refinement. The Genesis G70 in her lineup leans into that same theme of thoughtful luxury without too much noise. A new G70 usually sits in the mid $40,000 to $60,000 range. It's often praised for driving dynamics and a cabin that feels more expensive than the sticker price. It's the kind of car someone might pick if they want something engaging to drive, but also subtly stylish and comfortable for everyday life. She also has a Land Rover Defender, a vehicle that's become something of a modern classic for people who like a mix of capability and design. A brand new Defender often starts around $50,000 and can easily go higher with packages and options. It's rugged and adventurous, but also refined, so it feels just as at home on gravel back roads as it does parked in a city street. Finally, her collection includes a Lexus GX, a big SUV that's known for being durable, roomy, and comfortable. A new one typically sells in the $70,000 range, depending on features. It isn't a showboat, but plenty of people choose it because it feels solid and reliable, with a bit of luxury that makes daily errands or long trips more pleasant. When she does drive, it's in practical vehicles suited for daily use rather than display. Her approach to transportation mirrors her overall lifestyle. Philosophy: functional, efficient, and intentionally low profile. Rachel Maddow has never been associated with luxury aviation or maritime assets. Instead, she relies on commercial flights or network arrangements when traveling for work. Her absence from that ultra-luxury category isn't accidental, it's a conscious personal choice aligned with her values. People in Maddow's position often travel by commercial airline for regular work trips. A cross-country round-trip airfare in the U.S. can range from about $300 to $200 or more, depending on timing and class of service. If she flies first class for long work trips, that could easily be $1,500 to $3,000 each way. A private helicopter flight for short hops, say between major cities and nearby regions, can cost several hundred to a few $1,000s per hour, with many charter helicopters charging around $1,000 to $2,500 per flight hour. Longer or more exclusive flights could be higher than that. In terms of watches and jewelry, she is not a collector. She doesn't showcase luxury timepieces, diamond sets, or designer accessories. Instead, much of her financial focus has been on creative control and independence, allowing her to choose projects, reduce her on-air schedule, and expand into documentary production and long-form storytelling. By 2026, her career had evolved from nightly television to a more selective media presence, focusing on investigative specials, historical series, podcasts, and political documentaries. All of this allows her to maintain influence without burnout. In her personal life, Rachel Maddow has been in a long-term committed relationship with artist Susan McCullough since the late 1990s. Their relationship predates fame and wealth, and they've remained private and steady for over 2 decades. They are legally married, though they've never turned their relationship into a public spectacle. They do not have children, a decision they've discussed openly as a mutual choice rather than circumstance. There are no reports of past husbands, boyfriends, or secret relationships. Rachel Maddow's romantic life has been stable, consistent, and notably drama-free, a rarity in public media careers. Her daily life in 2026 is structured around research, writing, production meetings, and time spent at home with her partner. She lives with long-term health management due to cyclical depression, something she's spoken about openly, framing it as part of life rather than a weakness. That honesty has deepened her connection with audiences rather than diminished it. Professionally, she remains one of the most trusted political voices in American television, even as she appears less frequently on a nightly basis. Her awards include multiple Emmy Awards, a Grammy Award for audiobook narration, and recognition from journalistic institutions for her storytelling rather than sensationalism. Her books have been bestsellers, contributing millions to her income while reinforcing her reputation as a serious thinker rather than a television personality chasing relevance. Rachel Maddow's lifestyle in 2026 is defined not by yachts, jets, or diamond vaults, but by control, independence, and longevity. She has built a life where wealth supports freedom rather than display, and where influence comes from credibility rather than noise. That foundation sets the stage for the next phase of her life and career, where her role shifts further from daily commentator to historical narrator and institutional voice, shaping how future generations understand the political era she helped document. As Rachel Maddow moved deeper into the later phase of her career, her definition of success shifted away from visibility and toward permanence. By the early 2020s, she had already reached a level where ratings no longer dictated her value. That gave her the rare privilege to redesign her professional life on her own terms. In 2022, she stepped back from hosting The Rachel Maddow Show on a nightly basis, choosing instead to focus on special projects, long-form reporting, and historical documentaries. The move surprised casual viewers but made perfect sense to those who understood her long-term strategy. This transition allowed her to preserve her mental health, protect her private life, and maintain creative authority over her work. Financially, this shift didn't reduce her earnings in any meaningful way. Her MSNBC contract was structured around output and exclusivity, rather than daily appearances, so her income remained among the highest in television journalism, even with fewer on-air hours. By 2026, her wealth continues to grow steadily through royalties, back-end production profits, and licensing agreements for her documentary content. Unlike entertainers who rely on touring or endorsements, Rachel Maddow's income is resilient, diversified, and rooted in intellectual property. Her production company plays a central role in this phase of her life, allowing her to hire researchers, historians, writers, and editors who share her standards of accuracy and narrative depth. This behind-the-scenes infrastructure is where much of her money is reinvested, not in luxury items, but in people, archives, and research access. When examining her spending habits, it becomes clear that her largest discretionary expenses are related to work quality rather than lifestyle inflation. Archival footage rights, legal vetting, international research travel, and extended development timelines all require substantial funding. Rachel consistently chooses to spend money there instead of on visible status symbols. This decision further explains why there are no private aircraft registered to her name, no yachts docked under shell companies, and no hidden luxury fleets tied to her finances. Investigative reporting into celebrity assets has never uncovered such holdings because they simply do not exist. Her public image in 2026 reflects this restraint. She remains instantly recognizable but not aggressively stylized. Her clothing choices are consistent, understated, and practical, reinforcing the idea that she wants viewers focused on content rather than presentation. Her relationship with Susan McCullough remains central to her life. Susan is an accomplished artist whose work has been exhibited internationally, and their partnership functions as a creative balance rather than a celebrity pairing. They live quietly, splitting time between urban and rural settings, and their home life is intentionally protected from media intrusion. They don't host celebrity parties, don't share private moments on social media, and rarely appear together in public unless necessary. This boundary has allowed their relationship to remain stable over decades, something extremely rare in high-profile media careers. Rachel Maddow's decision not to have children has also shaped her lifestyle in practical ways. It has allowed her greater mobility, longer uninterrupted work cycles, and the ability to step away from daily broadcasting without family disruption. but it has also deepened her focus on mentorship. She is known privately for supporting younger journalists, researchers, and producers, often advocating for them within networks and funding opportunities. Although she doesn't publicly brand this work, it forms a meaningful part of her legacy. In terms of political influence, Rachel Maddow's voice in 2026 carries weight not because she speaks often, but because she speaks selectively. Her documentaries and special reports are treated as events rather than content filler, and this scarcity has increased audience trust. Advertisers do not dominate her programming, and she retains editorial control in a way few television figures ever achieve. This autonomy is one of the most valuable assets she has accumulated, arguably more valuable than physical property. Her financial advisors have long noted that her conservative spending combined with high earnings places her in an exceptionally secure position long-term. She carries no known public debt, no extravagant maintenance costs, and no volatile investments tied to luxury markets. Her wealth is managed quietly, conservatively, and with long-term sustainability in mind. This is also reflected in her charitable behavior. While she doesn't publicize donations aggressively, she has supported causes related to public health, veterans, LGBTQ rights, and investigative journalism, often through private channels rather than naming rights or public announcements. Her childhood experiences, growing up in a military household, continue to influence her worldview. She retains a deep respect for institutional responsibility and accountability, even when she critiques power structures. And this grounding explains why she never embraced celebrity excess, even when it was readily available to her. Rachel Maddow's awards and recognition continue to accumulate quietly, not through campaigns, but through peer acknowledgement, industry honors, academic invitations, and journalistic fellowships. She is frequently invited to speak at universities, policy forums, and international media conferences. These appearances reinforce her position as a long-term intellectual figure rather than a television personality tied to a single era. By 2026, she is increasingly discussed alongside historical broadcasters and commentators rather than contemporary cable hosts. Her name appears in academic syllabi, media studies programs, and political history courses, indicating that her work has moved beyond news cycles into documented record. Her daily routine reflects this evolution. Mornings are often spent reading primary sources, archival documents, and historical accounts. Afternoons involve production meetings and script development. Evenings are reserved for quiet time at home rather than social events. This rhythm has remained consistent for years and has contributed to her sustained clarity and focus. She has spoken openly about the importance of structure in managing mental health, and this honesty has resonated deeply with audiences who see her not as an untouchable figure, but as a disciplined professional navigating real human limitations. As the media landscape continues to fragment and accelerate, Rachel Maddow's lifestyle in 2026 stands as a counterexample to constant exposure and algorithm-driven visibility. She has proven that influence can be maintained through depth rather than volume, that wealth can exist without spectacle, and that a public life does not have to consume private identity. As Rachel Maddow entered what many observers describe as the legacy phase of her public life, the contrast between her immense influence and her restrained personal lifestyle became even more striking. By 2026, she had reached a position few media figures ever achieve: complete independence within a major network, while retaining public trust across ideological lines. This shift required patience, financial stability, and creative freedom, all of which her carefully managed wealth provided. While many public figures use peak earning years to accumulate visible luxury, Rachel Maddow used hers to buy time. Time to research, time to write, time to revise, and time to step away when necessary. This philosophy extends to how she handles public attention. She avoids social media oversharing. She rarely comments on personal matters publicly. She does not participate in celebrity culture even when invited. This intentional distance has protected her private life and reduced the volatility that often accompanies fame. Financially, her wealth management strategy remains conservative, diversified, across traditional investments rather than speculative ventures. There is no evidence of large-scale involvement in cryptocurrency, high-risk startups, or volatile luxury markets. This caution has protected her net worth from dramatic fluctuations. Her estate planning reflects foresight rather than extravagance, with attention to intellectual property rights, archival preservation, and charitable distribution rather than inheritance spectacle. As the conversation around Rachel Maddow's place in American media continues to mature, her lifestyle in 2026 can only be fully understood by looking at what she deliberately chose not to become. She never pursued celebrity influence beyond journalism. She never turned herself into a brand built on products, fashion, or aspirational fantasy. She never allowed her personal wealth to redefine her public purpose. Her income level has always exceeded her personal spending needs, creating a buffer that protects her from pressure, whether political, commercial, or institutional. This buffer has allowed her to walk away from projects that compromise standards and to take breaks without financial fear, a privilege she has, acknowledged openly and used responsibly. Her partnership with Susan McCullough remains the emotional center of her life. Their shared history anchors her identity beyond professional roles, and their mutual respect for privacy has prevented public scrutiny from destabilizing their bond. When you step back and look at Rachel Maddow's life in 2026 as a whole, what stands out most is not what she owns, but what she has protected. She built extraordinary wealth without surrendering privacy. She achieved cultural power without chasing spectacle. She shaped public understanding without turning herself into a product. In a world that often equates success with excess, her life quietly argues for a different definition, one where money creates freedom rather than display, where influence is earned through trust rather than volume, and where longevity matters more than attention. She does not measure her life in jets, yachts, or collections, but in control over her time, integrity of her work, and stability of her personal world. That balance is rare, and it is the reason her voice continues to matter, even when she chooses silence. Rachel Maddow's lifestyle is not designed to impress. It is designed to last. And in the long arc of media history, that may be the most powerful legacy of all.